Star Trek the motion picture. Like, this boring as shit.
What?
I hated it. You liked it?
I loved it.
All they do is stare. They don't do shit for the movie. They're standing there just staring.
Wait, we're experiencing what they're experiencing at the same time.
This movie pissed me off. Welcome to the list. This is a show we pluck out a name out of the Geeks on Joysticks podcast YouTube channel watch list. Watch it and view it for your viewing pleasure. I am your host, Enterprise, and with me as sometimes my ghostly friend.
Yes.
The movie we're scratching off the list today is 1979's Star Trek the Motion Picture. When an alien spacecraft of enormous power is spotted approaching Earth, Admiral James T. Kirk resumes command of the overhauled USS Enterprise in order to intercept it. Brett, you seen this one before?
I've never seen this movie, but I have seen OG Star Trek when I was a child, and I always thought it was some boring. So I've never seen anything Trek except for the new movies and the OG Wrath of Khan.
Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. My first encounter with Star Trek was the Chris Pine 2009 movie. So I was like, all right, Star Trek, there's Trekkies, there's nerds. Let's figure this, let's figure it out. Let's get Bell.
I liked Khan, but I wasn't expecting one we saw away.
Man, what the Star Trek?
It went hard as balls way.
Like, this boring as shit.
What?
I hated it. You liked it?
I loved it. To the point where I really want to start watching the OG series.
Go ahead. I ain't gonna stop you. This is boring as Wait, all they do is stare. They don't do shit for the movie. They're standing there just staring.
Wait, we're experiencing what they're experiencing at the same time. We're finding out what they're finding out. I love that. Okay, granted, this movie could have been like a half hour to 40 minutes shorter.
You cut the staring, it's a 45-minute movie, man.
Yeah, that's true.
They're just staring. They're just sitting there staring. They can't believe it. Oh,
but I loved how the body language there, the looks they shared. I loved it.
That's great. For 2 seconds, they're staring on that for 10 minutes, and they don't stare at one thing. They stare at like 17 different things. They're just sitting there staring. They don't do shit. Bro, this movie pissed me off.
Neta.
Yes, I hated it.
I loved every minute of it.
What the did you watch?
The nuances in the dialogue, the nuances in like their movement, how they talk to each other, how Kirk spoke to Spock and how he spoke to Bones, and how he dismissed the new guy. The humor was so subtle that I really loved it.
It felt like I needed knowledge from the series to fully understand it, because they want you to have these emotional feelings of like Spock coming back, but I don't know where the he's been. So you can't just sit down and watch this movie. I feel like you need to know what the hell happened with the series, which I don't.
No, yeah, you are absolutely right with that, because how did Kirk become an admiral? How did
I thought he was already the captain of the thing, and he has this whole bickering thing with the captain and of this other guy. I think it's the guy from Seventh Heaven or whatever. He's arguing. He's like, well, no, but you don't know what you're doing, and that's the whole movie. Kirk makes a decision. He gets side-eyed by the rest of the crew, and he's too stubborn to like adjust anything. And it's like, I thought you're this Kirk. What are we doing? I don't know nothing about Star Trek. I come into here and it's a mess.
When we start the movie, he's just a dick with everybody, almost everybody. And he brings people out of retirement. That's a dick move.
Yeah.
But as the movie progresses, he kind of reverting to that captain that everybody loves. And that's where we leave them into their new adventures.
The show got canceled in 1969 and the movie came out in 79. So it's been 10 years since the cancellation of the show to the movie. So there was a lot of like scripts that were going to come out. There was going to be like a straight to TV movie. There was going to be like a movie that was titled Star Trek 2. There was like all these bunch of different scripts to relaunch the series. They were doing these movies, and it was Star Trek 2. It's one gigantic, complicated thing. So if y'all are Trekkie out there, feel free to school us and explain us down in the comments if we miss anything, because I know I'm going to get everything wrong because it was so confusing. So they took bits and pieces from these other projects that were going to be like a rogue AI taking over and the creating of a new life form and stuff like that. So they took bits and pieces to create this story. I just thought it was boring as a man.
Wow. As the movie progressed, I loved it even more because the visuals were pretty, for me, they were pretty dope.
They're okay for today, but for back then, I bet you they were dope. So I can commend. Visuals are pretty cool.
Yeah, the visuals were pretty cool, but then they went hard on the paint with the existential shit, and I was like, oh shit. Now I kind of get why Trek fans like Trek so much, because I would imagine that the series touched upon these existential things and like diving deep into the characters. The conclusions Spock had, because for what I gathered, because there was no subtitles when they were speaking Vulcan.
No.
Like he had like this crisis of identity, and he wanted to become like a full Vulcan, but then he, after all the adventure in this movie, said, you know what? The human side is also a necessary side to this hard and cold logic.
Yeah.
We need the warmness of the human perspective. And it really resonated with me.
None of that's like felt or explained in the movie. You made your whole conclusion, because he shows up into the he shows up to the Enterprise, and he's all like, was good, like nothing had happened. Everybody's like, holy it's Spock, and he's like, yeah, well, get out of my seat. He sits down.
That was hilarious.
It was like, okay.
They kind of touch upon that a little bit during the movie, where at the end also they say, hey, I remember you were like doing something in Vulcan. Do you want us to take you back? And he said, no. I found what I needed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, humanity.
Yeah, but it was done in a way boring way. Leonard Nimoy actually wrote a little part where it was like Spock going out on this trial thing where he had to, again, I'm making it was a lot of so
just assuming.
Yes, he had to like, there was like this trial of the whatever, and he has to like reflect and figure out until he feels he's able to complete the trial. And the trial was like to travel across this desert during the day and get to a certain point. Oh, because there's no moon at nighttime, it's just pitch black. So he has to trek back, no pun intended, recreating the exact same moves, but now in the pitch black. And when he does come back is what he was going to figure it out. So that's what Leonard Nimoy was writing. But in his version, he was going to be like walking and doing that during the day. And he was going to get a radio ping signal. And then he was going to find the ship someplace else and yada, yada, yada. That sounds way more interesting than what they actually did. He just showed up.
Yeah, that was weird.
Hello there.
I'm mainly disappointed because I thought this was going to be an introduction to the whole Star Trek world, and I was going to understand and appreciate it more. But instead, it's kind of like an extra long episode, which I didn't like that. I thought it was going to kick off this whole giant fandom, and I was going to be like, oh, okay, I kind of understand Star Trek now. And I was like, wow, this is boring. I did like the music starting. Like, there's 2 minutes of just the music, really random. Like, there's no letters, there's no nothing.
I did not understand that.
And then there's like no credits, no nothing, just the music going for 2 minutes.
And stars.
Yeah, and then the movie kicks in, and I was like, okay, that was really weird, because I really enjoyed the music. Jerry Goldsmith did the music, and it's really good. I really enjoyed the music. That was probably my MVP. It did open with some cool space. I think it was the Klingons, right? It was their spaceship.
Oh, Simone.
And that reminded me of Spaceballs, which we've done for the list, and I'll link for you right over here. We get to see the Starship Enterprise, and the model looks really nice and spiffy. But speaking of Spaceballs, I swear to God, this sequence was longer than the Spaceballs one, and the Spaceballs one was done on purpose. Wait.
I think you're right.
This was 5 minutes of him just staring at the Enterprise.
Oh.
There's a range where it becomes funny. They passed it. It's not funny anymore. It became annoying. And I'm just sitting, yeah, it's the same shot. Can we go? Can we move in? That should have been a clear sign of what this movie was going to be for me, but it wasn't. I did enjoy that the crew, even for 1979, the crew's very, very diverse. There's chinitos, there's a black lady. There was I was like, where's the Mexican? There was a Mexican. There was, what was his name? Admiral Sanchez or whatever?
Oh, Simon, the first guy that beam up.
Carbon-based units. Humans, Ensign Perez.
Yo, there was a Star Trek episode where Uhura meets Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott,
What a charming negress.
Okay.
Uhura says,
you see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
I was like, oh.
If only. It was 25 minutes in, and except for the first attack, nothing had happened. At minute 41, we get the whole wormhole sequence, which was really, really weird and caused motion sickness in the theater. But I thought even that was cool, but that went a little bit too long. Everything just lingered for me.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. I did love the movie, but it did linger away.
A lot. And then there's like a lot of tricky mumbo jumbo that I don't understand. Like, set the phasers to the thing and the shit. And I'm kind of piecing it together a little bit.
I just clocked out. I was like, oh, yeah, I don't get it. I don't want to get it.
We get a Vulcan nerf pinch and Spock is all acting shady and we don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, Simon.
And after he does that, we figure out that he wanted to launch himself into the space booty hole to figure out what's going on.
I said, oh my God, it's a space ass.
Girl, that's a booty hole.
What's that?
Girl, that's a booty hole.
The V'ger storyline was kind of interesting. Like it's like an Alexa that went rogue, right? And kind of wrong.
Yeah.
But if the movie wasn't so painfully slow, I would give a damn. But by this point, I was like, oh, okay.
You were clocked out.
Well, it's been almost 2 hours, man. Nothing's going on.
Yeah, that's true.
And so our homie that Spock has been like arguing with becomes like a god and merges with this cute baldy lady. And we get this new life form. It was pretty wild, but kind of interesting at the same time. It just took forever to get there.
The thing became a god, basically.
I just found it to be boring, and I'm not the only one. William Shatner actually agrees. He was convinced that the Star Trek franchise died then and there, and he said,
"Holy,
well, that's it. We gave it our best shot. It wasn't good, and it will never happen again." After recalling that 15 years later, he added, "Shows what I know." I don't know. I think Wrath of Khan actually saved it because I've never seen that, but I've heard that is really, really great.
It's actually pretty dope.
It's just that this was so boring that it's not making me want to watch the second one. I really did not like this movie.
But contrary to you, I did like the movie.
Well, that's why we have multiple people on there. We don't have to agree. I don't like it when we agree. I like this better. So I've heard that Wrath of Khan is a legendary movie. I've never seen it. I'm iffy about it, but if this video gets 50 likes, we'll do it.
Oh!
I'm going to leave it up to y'all. We got many more episodes on the list that I'm going to link for you right over here, along with Spaceballs that I mentioned. That's a good one. We both love Spaceballs. So make sure you head on over there and watch that. Leave down in the comment section below any Star Trek facts. Yell at me if you think you're wrong. Yell at Felix if you think I'm right. We read every single comment. Thank you guys for the support. Always and forever, you do you.
Live long and prosper.